It's time for Fort Worth Musical Moments. Join us now as Steve Markwardt takes a look at the music and the artists who made the city's vibrant musical legacy what it is today. Trying to add to that legacy week by week here on Fort Worth Musical Moments. Brent Adams along with Steve Markwardt and our special guest, Kurt Ryle. And today we're going to be talking about the Josie Awards, which are going to be happening down the road from Fort Worth in Nashville, Tennessee this October. And Clarksville Creative Sound has had quite the showing in the nominations for the 10th annual Josie Music Awards. We're going to spend this hour kind of chronicling these nominations here, going through the list and talking about them and talking a little bit about what's on the horizon for the Clarksville Creative Sound label as we get into the summer months, because there is a lot going on here. As we say all the time, always a lot going on, but now some of this work is starting to bear fruit. Steve?
Well, it is. So evidence of that is every week I look at the indie charts, music charts, and the last chart that came out a few days ago, I think we were out of the 20 positions. We had 12 out of 20 positions. That's pretty strong, when you consider all the other independent artists out there and labels and all that. And then these Josie Award nominations that keep coming in every day. I'm surprised more and more. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it's a real honor to even be nominated for this thing. And so we're doing something right. And I think some of it has to do with, we got a pretty good producer that at the helm that is the most, there's no way anyone is more productive than Kurt Ryle. So,
I don't think anybody works harder, but I don't know if there's about the productive part of it. But I was impressed to see that we were up for a record label of the year with the Josies. That's a pretty big honor right there.
It is, but Kurt, if you think about everything that we've accomplished in the last, certainly since we started this thing, a couple of years ago, and certainly in the last 12 months, you think about, you and I, every once in a while, we'll sit and talk about, where we came from and where we are today and what it took to get there. And it's just nice to have some validation.
It is. And it's been a lot of work. I mean, we put in some serious hours and time and money in this thing, but I really think in the end it's paying off, and I can't wait for the TV show to come out. We're still holding off on getting all that stuff in order, but it will come and it will happen, and I'm excited about all this stuff, guys.
Yeah, me too. And I wanted to get an update from Tommy Snyder, but I couldn't reach him this morning. He was in some meetings. But I know a lot of people are probably wondering, okay, when is this going to look like a real network? Because right now, I mean, you can go to acncountry.com and you can see mainly they're streaming now. So it's live, but they're streaming a lot of music videos. So, and I think they've got a few syndicated shows on there. But believe me when I say that they've got a lot of original programming they're working on. Tommy, if he's not in the office doing administrative things, he's out there producing show. I mean, Tommy's a very talented guy. I mean, he took over the editing of our show, and he knows how to do that, from A to Z. So he's a pretty talented guy. And but not only do we have our show, which we're so excited about, but there's a handful of other original content shows that are going to be put on the air. And so I can't say the exact date when all that programming is going to be in place, but it's coming soon, and it's going to be really good. And of course, there's all kinds of ideas of additional shows as well. But they've got a top 20 or top 40 countdown type show coming. They've got I think some other reality type shows. They've got some live music program things that they're going to be showing. So eventually this will be a real network with real great original content. And they kind of see our show as one of the flagship shows of the whole network, which, So it's a big responsibility. So that's why you and I and Tommy are all grinding to make sure this thing is as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah, we got a lot of filming to do. I mean, we're going to have to film a whole season worth of episodes. So, I mean, it's going to get busier than it is right now. If that's possible, and we're pretty busy. But what do you think, Brent?
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, it's been interesting to watch because putting together a network is a Herculean effort, and they're literally doing it brick by brick here. Not a huge staff. They don't have hundreds of people. It's not like you know, a major you know, studio or network where you've got all these resources. They're literally building this thing, kind of a grassroots approach here, and I think that they've pulled in a lot of huge players, a lot of people who have experience and are recognizable from other networks. And ultimately, I think you're going to see it all blossom, much as you have with Clarksville Creative Sound here. And, you know, as we've learned with all this stuff, it just takes time.
It does. One of the things I've been most impressed with, because, you know, as you know, I'm an investor in technology type companies, have been for over 20 years or so. And a lot of these companies, you know, their whole business plan centers around a proprietary technology or a platform, if you will. If it's a software as a service or a SaaS-based company, you know, they have to build a platform, and that's not cheap. And usually these folks don't have the internal means to be able to do that, so they have to hire third-party programmers, and you're talking sometimes millions of dollars,
right,
to create some really, really comprehensive platforms. I've seen companies spend, you know, $4, $5, $6 million on a platform, depending on what it does. The thing that I've been most impressed with here is that between Noah and Keith, they've been able to build just about all of the technology, the video on demand streaming platform, and they're working on a music distribution platform. All of this stuff they've been able to do internally,
right.
And that saves a heck of a lot of money, and it shows you that you know, we've got some great resources that are inside that company that we can rely upon, and that'll make us nimble too, to be able to react to demand and come up with all kinds of neat things. And the cool thing is that we've got a really close relationship with Tommy Snyder. We developed a really good friendship with him, and we've kind of got his ear too. And so, you know, we're always kicking around ideas, not only for our show, but for other show formats for the network. And so we're just really happy about that.
Yeah, such a great opportunity to have another avenue to get all this great content that you're putting together out there.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I'm working. Funny, I'm working on an album right now for a guy from Canada who wanted to do a Vern Gosdin tribute album.
Huh.
And this guy, when I brought him in here, I didn't know what to think because English was not his first language. He's actually a Native American from Canada. And I thought, well, I don't know how this is going to work out, but this guy sounds a lot like Vern Gosdin. And I'm in here working on this project that has nothing to do with what we're doing, but you know, I'm still having a lot of fun in here doing this stuff, guys. But I long for the day when I don't have to do anything but what our record company requires. You know, I mean, I'd love to just be working with just our artists, but you know, I'm still having some fun in here doing this other stuff too.
Kurt, you wouldn't have it any other way. Because every time I talk to you, and you'll say, "Well, I've caught up. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to go out and just hang out at the park or whatever," and that lasts about an hour.
Yeah, at best. Yeah, it's not. It never ends. It's always something's going on. But yeah, it's fun, and I'm really excited about the show. I got down here and watched the pilot. We got a pilot, and we got it finished. But it still needs some work. We're still working on parts of it, Steve, as you know. And I got here and watched it this morning with my son, and I think this is going to be a really good show. I'm really excited about this thing. It's coming together.
Well, we've shown it to some folks, you know, Braden's age. My daughter has looked at it. I wanted young eyes to see this thing and be extremely honest about it, and they have been, sometimes brutally honest, but for the most part, they all understand what we're trying to do. They love the premise. They think it's a great concept, but they've also given us some constructive criticism that we've taken to heart. And the great thing is, we don't have a production team. Josh and Tommy aren't like resistant to that. They're wide open to because they know that all we want to do is make this the best that it can be, and it's a reflection not only on Clarksville Creative Sound, but it's a reflection on American Country Network, because this is touted as a ACN original show. So, but yeah, just little things that you kind of don't even
you're looking at the cast of the show right there and the part of the crew. It's a very interesting set, being set in a music studio like that. I think this show has got some real serious potential to do well. And we got great crew. We got a great cast. These kids are good. I mean, they're really good in front of cameras,
Yeah, and Kurt, who knew that you were so at ease on camera? I mean, you're a natural.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I didn't know. Honestly, and Steve, I was resistant to do this from the beginning, and it hadn't been for Steve, I wouldn't even be doing it. Because I was like, this is not what I wanted this show to be. I wanted more of a show, a variety show, kind of like Hee Haw or something like that, a more modern version. And man, we got in that meeting, and it just turned like on a dime, and all of a sudden I'm thrown right in the middle of this thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull this off. I've never done this before, But
who knows? It may turn into Hee Haw. I think this show resembles Hee Haw. This one we're on right now. right, Grandpa. No.
What's for dinner?
Yeah. What is that? You met another, and what a great show. I'd love to. I need to watch some reruns of
those are out there, man. They're still good to watch, and those musical performances.
I was on a few of those things, man.
I figured you were. Were you in the corn stalk somewhere?
I went in the cornfield. I was always on stage playing with somebody, but
well, I know Mel Tillis was on there a lot, because they would bring him on just to hear him stutter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was such a great show. But this our show has turned out to be a total reality show, which is 180 from what we started out thinking we were going to be. But I think it's working, and I think it's going to be good. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like this show. I've not seen anything done in a recording facility or behind the scenes. And people love that kind of stuff, I used to do the road stories, Brent. You and I used to do that.
Yeah, I remember those days.
People just love that, and they just love to hear what was going on behind the scenes in music and in the studios and some of the stories. And we're kind of creating some of that here, so it's interesting.
Well, it gives you a look at the real talent that we have in our label, because what you'll see in this show is raw. There's no auto tune, nothing like that. These kids are, a lot of it is them with you and with our whole team creating new music, creating, on the spot. I mean, Braden writes a song on this new first episode.
Yeah, and what's funny is I had never heard that song until that day. In fact, until we were shooting that episode, and Jaden, this was part of the show that's reality, that wasn't scripted. Jaden says something to Braden that's kind of funny, and he tries to change the subject by telling her about a new song he wrote. She said, "We'll play it." And he just picked up a guitar and did it, and it was just amazing, So, yeah, there are times when Dina Wood said Kurt broke his auto tune. Yeah, that's when I was singing, Dina. It just went up in smoke.
Just a sidebar here real quick. I'm trying to go where I can see. I'm having a hard time seeing where people are chiming in. And I say this on the air because
here's one thing I've noticed, Steve. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but something's different today because I see everybody's name and I see their picture.
Are you on the Fort Worth Musical Moments feed?
I think so. I just used the app, the link you sent me, but I can see everybody. I know we got Ralph Cruz in here from France. We got people from all over the world in here. Christopher Carter from Fort Worth, Terry LeMaster's here, Peggy York. We got several people coming in. Kathy Adams was here, and so I can see who everybody is. And used to I didn't know who was here or who was talking, but so we've got some improvements. Billy Bowles.
Can you see Brent? Can you see this?
I can.
Okay, well, good. Well, I'll leave it up to y'all. We don't want to.
Philip Rather's even here, Steve. We got our good friend Philip Rather is in here with us.
Oh, really, Philip? Yeah. Man, Philip's writing some unbelievable music.
I know he is.
But his inspiration comes in the middle of the night after a couple of cold ones, I think. Philip works all day. I mean, he's building a startup company almost single-handedly. Talk about somebody that can build it from the ground up himself. Brilliant guy. So smart that a lot of times he talks over my head. But we always have fun when we get together with Philip because he loves to come up there and blow off steam and make some of his songs that he's written and of course, remember we wrote a song for you, Kurt. But
I know, and you guys caught me on a morning when I was not in a good place and played me this funny song that was really after I went back and thought about it, listened to it, I started laughing. But Philip and Steve they were going to go back to the bed and breakfast and write a great song and come in the next morning. The song was about me, and it was really funny. It was a funny song. And I just wasn't laughing much that morning. Philip's like, I think we made Kurt mad. I said, Philip, you could make me mad if you hit me in the head with a hammer. But
there you go.
There we go, Brent. Brent can't wait. He got his finger on that button, doesn't he?
I wanted to test your theory, first of all. And second of all, we had a request from Peggy York. And since she's such a loyal viewer, I thought I would oblige.
Wow. At some point we need to sell that video. Maybe that'll be our first NFT. And we might get a lot of money off
we
that.
Could get a bidding war going for that.
I think we might. We just might. But no, Philip's a great guy. And I'll tell you what he's working on with his musical app. It's musicalapp.com for anybody that wants to go check it out. And Philip, I still don't understand the nuts and bolts 100%, but what he's doing. But I know he's built a platform that allows musicians, artists to go in there and record tracks. You can put a whole song on there, or you can record a vocal track or a guitar track, and then somebody from who knows where you can collaborate with other people. You can put your own music on there, push a button and mint an NFT. And I'm telling you guys, the NFT market is coming back strong. Everything.
If somebody wanted to go out there and do that, if somebody wanted to go out there and take a look at it, what link would they need to go to? What's the name of the program they would need to go to?
Yes, musical app, musicalapp.com.
And okay. we got that in the comments section, so folks can probably just click on it out of there.
Yeah. And what Philip's doing those is amazing. Philip's is great pedigree. I mean, he spent 15 years maybe or more at Facebook, and started their whole data department there in Austin. Moved to Austin from California, and which Austin and California are kind of the same. No, anyway.
They really are.
Philip will enjoy that one. Anyway, Philip and his wife Brandy, I mean, they're great people. And one of these days we got to all get down to Austin and hang out with them and go tour the Capitol Factory, because I met Philip through the Capitol Factory. But there's some neat things he's doing, and he's got his finger on the pulse of the music industry, and he's trying to change it, and he's trying to make this whole thing eventually will be kind of a public trust. So pretty cool.
Well, I'm impressed with Philip's writing skills, because Philip, sometimes you can tell when Philip has had just maybe one or two more beers than he probably should have been. He'll send a song, and I'm like, he's going to regret that one tomorrow. But then, he'll send one, and you go, holy cow, that's an amazing song. Philip, you got a lot of talent, my friend. I enjoy working with you too on your music.
Well, I'll never forget that first time he flew in. We picked him up at the airport, and he was already hyped up. We stopped and grabbed lunch, came to the studio, and you had beer waiting for him. So he had a few beers, and we don't want to make him sound like he's a lush.
He doesn't drink very much during the day. It's usually in the evening,
Yeah. But he was there to have fun and there to do music. And he was kind of like the first time I came in your studio and realized what I had there. I was like, man, this is what it's all about. This is what I've been looking for. And Philip felt the same way. And you finally got him behind the mic and you were like, okay, Phil, and you go, Philip, what? He goes, turn around and face the mic. He had his back to me.
Yeah, I kept turning up my preamp trying to get the mic louder, and then I looked through the glass in the vocal room, and he had his back to me. He was singing to the wall. He was
singing and dancing.
Yeah.
Song and dance.
Philip, we're having some fun at Philip's expense. By the way, Ralph Cruz wanted to know if we have an estimation when the pilot episode will be aired. I keep throwing out numbers, Ralph, and they're always wrong. So I'm scared to really say on this thing. I can only tell you that we want to make sure that we have the network is fully launched and we have the viewership to be able to warrant putting that pilot out. We want to make sure that millions of people watch it. So I don't know, Steve, you want to take a shot at an estimation when that thing will be aired?
Well, I'm flying up there Monday, and we're meeting with Tommy almost all day. We'll have a better feel for it when we come away from that meeting. But I will tell you that, yes, you made the point. And the main thing is, look, we put a lot of work and time and expense into creating this show, and we don't want it to go out until we get it. We want it to go out to as many eyes as possible. Yeah. And that doesn't mean, we're talking about months and months away. I mean, it could be just a few weeks. Who knows? First of all, we got to get the pilot completely done. We got a few more editing, post-production things we got to do. But
you can bet, though, Steve, that when we do know a date that it's coming out, we will be all over Facebook giving out that information.
And Tommy and his crew, they have not one but several PR companies. They've got all kinds of people that are kind of ready to come out of the starting gate and start really putting a lot of publicity out there to gain awareness for this network. So they just haven't unleashed that yet on the world because the timing is not right quite yet. What they're doing right now is they're finalizing all the different ways that this show can reach people. So they just signed a deal and finalized it. I don't know if we're online yet, but they signed a deal with the largest OTA provider in the world, OTA meaning over the air, which is these digital antenna providers. And I never really thought much about that. I remember as a kid having an antenna and having rabbit ears on my TV and putting foil on it and all that. But we're talking about digital antennas that provide really crystal clear service. And so we are hooked in, have a partnership with the largest provider, which conceivably gets the network in front of I think 30, 40 million viewers, just that alone. And then we've got all the different streaming platforms. We've got, I think we're being built in from here on out to every LG TV, and they're working on a deal with Samsung. They just finished the Android streaming app for mobile, and they're about to launch the Apple iOS app for as well. So all these different means of distribution and broadcast are rolling out as we speak, and that's about to be finalized. And when that happens, then we'll be better suited to start putting our show and some of the other shows on this network and getting it out there. So it's been a long time coming, but again, we just don't want it to go out there until we've got all the distribution networks in place.
Yeah. Dina Wood says, speak to the song and how it was done. I love the story. Dina, you're gonna have to elaborate on which song
the theme song for the show.
Small Town Sound. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what's funny about the theme song for the TV show, Small Town Sound. Steve and I, we sat down and wrote a song that we thought was pretty cool, but it wasn't. It was a little more, I guess you would say, bluegrass in nature. It had a little bit more of a train feel to it, And we sent it to Tommy, and Tommy actually came back with a version that was a little more rocking, a little more of a country rock kind of a feel to it. And we all agreed that was really probably the best way to go. And so the funny thing is, we recorded the song, and we didn't have a singer. We were thinking about putting Steve on it. We thought we might want it to sound kind of like Hank Williams Jr., but we had a young boy in the studio, and he was 17 years old, and he was in here with the crew, the filming crew, and I heard him singing was Braden. Him and Braden were sitting over in the corner playing and singing, and I could hear him, and I thought, man, that kid's got a very unique style, different kind of voice. And so I asked him, I said, hey, do you sing? I said, you ever sang on a recording before? And he said, no, I've never done that. And I said, well, why don't we put you in the studio and give it a shot? And I put him in front of the mic and had him sing that song, and the thing came off really good. Anyway, to make a long story short, he was the son of Tommy Snyder, the head of the network. So his son Noah, 17 years old, Tommy had never heard him sing, didn't even know he could sing. And then I sent him the theme song with this kid singing it. And I just said, look, tell me if you like this voice. And I didn't tell him it was his son. I just tell me if you like this voice. And he comes back with, man, I really like that. I think that's youthful and cool. And this guy sounds a little bit like Bob Seger and a little bit like, and
like John Fogerty or something.
Yeah. And I said, well, that's your son singing. And he was absolutely blown away. He had no idea that it was his son. And he was like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, no, that's your kid, man. So now we brought him into this thing. And we might even make him a cast member before this is done. I mean, we're looking at it. He fits right in with the rest of these kids. He's about the same age and good looking kid. He's smart and talented. So,
I'm working with a web designer building our new web page for Clarksville Creative Sound, and a lot of it revolves around artist profiles. And I've got that questionnaire that we designed. We wanted each artist to answer it in their own way, like who are your biggest influences? What do you like most about your music? What, if you could meet anybody living or dead, who would it be? That kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I sent it over to Noah with the intent of putting him on the roster. And so I called Tommy. I said, Tommy, I didn't have Noah's email address. So Tommy, I said, would you pass it on to Noah? And he goes, yeah, I've already shown it to Noah. And he told me to tell you that he doesn't need to fill that out because everybody already knows who he is anyway. He's a rock star. So you tell that little, that
he's singing the theme song for our TV show. Of all the kids, we had 3 artists who could have done it, and he ends up getting the role. It's actually pretty cool, and it's funny because when the film crew was here, this boy, his name is Noah, and this boy, they would stick him in a closet and say, now you stay in here and don't come out on the set when we're filming. And this boy spent all of the whole week of us filming sitting in this closet. And the kids would walk by, they got to know him. And so they'd walk by and go, hey, closet boy. And they just, it was kind of funny. And now all of a sudden he's the guy singing the theme song. And so he's like become a little star in his own mind. It's really funny.
Now he's
joking about it, but
now he and Braden and Evie and Jaden, and they all talk almost every day, don't they?
Absolutely. They're Snapchatting each other. He even comes up here and they all meet in different places and go hang out together. It's quite a little thing that they've got going, and he fits in really well with these other kids. And so, yeah, you might look out. Watch for Noah Snyder. He may be one of the cast members in this thing. Ralph Cruz was just asking about that. Yeah, you'll probably see him in the show. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the first episode.
Yeah. Who knows where this show is going to go? That's the cool thing. It kind of writes itself. And what you and I've talked about is we don't have to come up with any storylines except what's really going on or what has gone on, because fact is so much more interesting than any fiction you could come up with, when you think about everything that we're doing and have done, and all the different characters that we have, not only the kids, but we've got a label of more elderly people like me on there too, and who knows who might make an appearance from time to time. I know we'll probably have some celebrity cameos from time to time,
I fully expect we will be filming a lot, maybe out at the Grand Ole Opry backstage. I think we'll be in concerts. I think we'll be probably all over the United States filming concerts. I don't know where this is going. I just know that it's going to get a lot bigger as we go. And when we have the budget to really go out there and do what we want to do, the sky's the limit, and we will have that.
Our goal is to get this thing out there and build a fan base, and then possibly do a tour. Who knows? Musical tour. Who knows where this thing might go? But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. I did see where Ralph Cruz asked, so millions of viewers, but not before the end of 24. Christmas would be realistic. And I think well before Christmas.
I think a long time before Christmas. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't out in the next 6 to 8 weeks, but I don't know for sure. But I'm hoping that it will be.
We'll get a better feel for that after Monday, I think, and maybe we'll update everyone on next week's show or something like that.
Yeah, because Monday we're actually meeting with the network, and we're actually going to go over and fine tune everything about the show that we filmed so far. There's a good chance we could have this thing wrapped up in another week or two, and then basically be up to the network as to when we release it. So.
Right.
It could be soon. It could be sooner than later. We don't know.
Right. I think the timing is perfect for this network. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air. The programming, the idea behind it, the fact that it's going to be a family-friendly format. Like on Saturdays, they're going to rerun some of those old shows that you and I grew up watching, like maybe the Rifleman and stuff like that. We were talking about maybe doing a cowboy type show, kind of going back to the old cowboy music days, campfire type stuff, like the Gene Autry and Roy Rogers type stuff. I'm pushing and will continue to push to do something about Western swing, because I know.
Well, this show is going to have a little bit of everything, or this network's going to have everything, Steve, because there's going to be new, modern, and there'll be some of the old stuff, the old classic westerns like you're talking about, and I do think that the reality shows that they're putting out is going to be unusual and different from probably any other network. Yeah. And I think that's a really good thing. And I think we probably are right in the middle of having maybe the best reality TV show on this network. So, yeah.
I think, another program that we're got on the boards is one featuring our fearless host here, Brent Adams.
Yep.
Right.
Brent has become a part of this now. So tell us, Brent, your feelings on this.
And we're slowly putting the pieces together here. Right now we're out trying to raise the funds to get it done. So that's where we stand with that show. And as soon as we can get that done, we'll have some content on the air here in a few weeks, kind of looking at the agriculture industry and trying to bring in that audience, because that's a big market here, and they're starving for traditional country music.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think what you've been doing, Brent, with the Tractors and Troubadours thing and your whole Rural Strong format is just perfect for and it's certainly a demographic that it's very important to the network. And that also feeds back into a lot of the OTA, type people that are relying on that means of viewing.
Absolutely, it's still very very relevant in those areas of the country where you don't have great internet access, and we've talked that to death here over the past couple of years. That it's a lot of things that still need to change, but they change at kind of a glacial pace in rural America. They get funds and dribs and drabs to be able to change that. But, it's when you don't have the critical mass behind you, like you would have in an urban area to justify the spend, it's kind of hard for people to take it seriously. And that's a big problem in rural America, because people, when they're bean counters, just look at at the critical mass and how we can get the most bang for the buck. And if people are kind of spread out in those rural areas and the population is sparse, it's hard for them to justify making that spend. And it's a problem today. It'll probably be a problem 5 or 10 years from now, but it's how do you kind of work around that with the technology we have to be able to serve people as we do. And that's where I think some of this streaming technology and the OTA stuff are really important.
Yeah, and just bringing good quality entertainment to that demographic is so important. I mean, these folks are out there. They're little. I mean, I see these folks as heroes, especially the old-fashioned mom and pop farms that have been running for generation after generation. They're fighting to keep these things going. They're fighting against so many factors, and you can address that better than I can. But you've got all these corporate farms and ranches and things that are, these big, gigantic conglomerates are coming in and buying up these small farms, and so you got these salt of the earth farmers that are out there just still out there just working their tails off.
Well, and we need them so bad right now.
Yeah, we all eat presumably at least 3 times a day. Everybody's touched by it. We could do a whole show on that. I mean, the need keeps becoming greater, not just on a domestic scale, but we're talking about a global scale. I mean, farmers here feed the world, and we could go into great detail on all that, but at the same time, to Steve's point, the number of farms are contracting because we see it right around within 5 square miles of here. It used to be all farm country. Now we've got a Facebook new data farm coming about 2 miles down the road. We've had in the last 5 years or so an Amazon facility come up, and all those employ a lot of people. All those people need places to live, so they didn't have enough housing. So where are all those new subdivisions going? They're going on farms, and all those farms are going away. And we just saw another big one here in the area, go by the wayside here over the last year, and selling out to another subdivision, and it's happening all over the country. And it's a real concern that I don't think gets enough attention. People take it for granted.
Well, we even have look, we've got China buying up our farm.
Oh yeah,
that's scary stuff.
Yeah, thanks to that EB5, I think it is. It makes it easy for these foreign people to come in. Nowhere else. You can't go to China and buy a bunch of real estate as an American.
Well, and if we just, if we get the right leadership in place, that'll stop. But until it does, and I don't know how you get that land back once it's sold. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
We just need leadership. That's all.
Well, I think part of it is too. A lot of the states have taken the bull by the horns on that and enacted their own legislation trying to keep out some of those foreign investors. And
I saw South Dakota did that recently, and I'm sure
South Dakota, Arkansas, I think Missouri. There's been a number of states that have made attempts to try to do it, and some of them say within 10 miles of a military facility or so forth, to try to position it as a national security issue, which whether you buy a military installation or not, it's still a national security issue because, as we always say, food security is national security. So I don't know. That's a soapbox for another day. Anyway.
Well said, though, Brent. You're right about that. I mean, when you buy a farmland and you're not farming it, that is a national security problem out there.
Yeah,
very true.
As I was sitting in we've run on tractors and troubadours over the last few weeks a series on cyber terrorism and agri-terrorism and some of the issues that are out there. And as one of the guys from the FBI pointed out, we're about 9 meals away from anarchy. When you stop and think about that, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. If you miss about 3 days worth, people get pretty desperate. So I don't know. There's a whole lot there that can be unpacked at a later time. I don't want to. steer the conversation in that direction, because we still have to talk Josie Awards here. We've got a lot of that done. We talk about the success of what's coming with the network here, but we can't turn a blind eye toward what's here in front of us now and what's in the immediate rear view mirror, because a lot of great work has come out of Clarksville Creative Sound over the last couple of years here, and we're starting to see the fruits of that with a lot of nominations here. Steve and I were sitting down this morning, counted about in the neighborhood of around 20 nominations, and some of these categories have multiple Clarksville Creative Sound artists in the nominations here for these categories. So and to
put it in perspective, Brent, the truth is Josie Awards are very, very difficult to win. It's a very elusive award for artists because there are thousands of artists all over the world that are competing. This is by far the biggest independent awards in the world.
Right.
They're held at the Grand Ole Opry, and just to put it in perspective, we've been participating in these awards for about 5 years now, in the Josie Awards, and our artist has taken just about every award you can think of. North American Country Music Association. One year, Braden and Jasmine McDonald together won 18 awards from that organization. And it was like they were almost the only ones winning. But the Josie Awards, to put it in perspective, only 3 of our artists have won a Josie Award. Jaden Riley, Braden Ryle, and Mackenzie McKetty. And that's it. I mean, and we're talking over a period of years here, so they're very difficult to win. And just to win one is such a huge honor.
So, Kurt, you've never won a Josie Award, Kurt?
Here's the truth. I've been nominated as a Musician of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, but I could be wrong about this, but I think what it is, I really don't know that they allow professional studio musicians and songwriters to win these awards, because these awards are for indie, and I don't know that somebody like me would be classified as an indie musician. Does that make sense? I mean, I played on a lot of hit records and stuff like that, so I don't know I don't know that I even feel right about winning one of those awards myself, but I would love for all of our artists to win one. That would be huge. I would love to take home the Record Company of the Year. I think that'd be fabulous,
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I can't imagine any other record label, certainly an independent record label, having more traction than we have experienced in the last 12 months.
Well, I think, that things are going to change here coming up in October here, just by the sheer number of nominations here. Unbelievable. And if you'll indulge me, we'll go down the list here and kind of talk about some of these here. We'll start out with Artist of the Year in Traditional and Classic Country, Mackenzie McKetty, who has a number of nominations here. And we'll get into all those here soon. Of course, going to be vying for the title of Miss Oklahoma here in a couple of weeks. And we're excited about that, but she's just had a phenomenal year.
Boy, I tell you, Mackenzie is just on fire, and she's not only that, but she's playing somewhere almost every night. I think she was just in Fort Worth, or she's coming back to Fort Worth to play over at the Longhorn Saloon down in the Stockyards, and of course we are just so excited about her bid for Miss Oklahoma, and I think she's got a great shot at winning that. Because of who she is, how she conducts herself, and the fact that she plays that fiddle, and she's just a model young adult.
When she walks on stage, she commands the audience's attention. She's real good. Mackenzie, the cool thing about the Josie Awards is it's not just one genre. They cover every genre under the sun. I'm talking, but so she's up for traditional female artist of the year, and nobody does it better than Mackenzie McKetty. She's by far the best traditional female artist, or one of the best out there that I've ever heard. We have others on the label that are very, very good at that, but for the young adults, and I think they're probably looking at the youth here, she's got to be right at the top of that.
What a great role model she is for kids younger than her coming up too. She's so humble. And she's just, just the whole package. Kurt, you talk about all these different categories. The first time I'd ever been to the Josies was last year, and it was pretty overwhelming. I was like, man, this is a huge production, and never been in the Grand Ole Opry Hall there at Opryland. And that place was packed to the gills. And at some point, at about 3 hours into that deal, I think I looked at you and I said, now they're just making up categories.
They cover a lot of categories.
But it's a well-run deal, and it's really interesting. Our good friend Sammy Sadler was one of the presenters on that deal.
All right. Well, the next category, Artist of the Year, Young Adult Female, Ariel Frowns and Evie May. Also,
Ariel has had a great. You talk about somebody having a coming out party. We got her, pulled her in the studio, and when Kurt and I first met her, she was so shy.
We saw her singing at the zoo. Actually, we were at the zoo, and this was last year at the Josie Awards, right, Steve?
Yeah.
And, we went to the zoo. They had some artists singing out there, so we just went out there, and that's the first time I ever heard Ariel sing. And I think I heard something, what I heard, and Steve was looking at more of the visual with her being so shy, but I was really locked in on her voice. And I thought, man, this kid can freaking sing. She was incredible. And so Steve and I we almost butted heads over this artist. I said, Steve, I want to bring her in the studio. And Steve goes, I don't know, she's pretty shy, man. I don't know if she's socially quite ready yet. She's only 12 years old. And he's right about that. He was absolutely right. But I thought, you know what, we can groom her. And finally, after I got her in the studio and recorded her, and I sent the recording to Steve, he was like, oh my goodness gracious, we got to get this girl.
Yeah, there was one song she did that hadn't been released yet that literally moved me to tears, and that doesn't happen very often. Well, the older I get, the more I can cry at a commercial now. But anyway, but that song the song's called "Almost Made Me Cry," and it's like, well, you did me, the way she delivered that song. Yeah, what an amazing voice. And
Ariel is she's one of those real freak of nature kind of kids that come in and you put her in front of a microphone and she just comes to life, and nobody loves it more than her. And you put her in front of a camera and she's brilliant. But if you talk to her, just walk up and start talking to her, she has this very squeaky little tiny voice, and she's scared to. It's just a shyness. She's just a young kid. And so I started working with her, and I just said, you got to talk louder. And I became Sergeant Carter to her. I mean, you got to speak up, Pyle, And she's gotten out of where she's just pretty open, and it's cool to see her. She's growing out of that.
Well, she's got a great support system behind her with family and friends. There's already a built-in fan base that's pretty broad. So
yeah,
absolutely. And of course, also in that category, Evie May.
Evie May. What can you say about Evie May?
Evie May is one of the cast of the new TV show Small Town Sound. In fact, she's one of the very best in front of a camera I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think anybody can out-sing Evie May. She is just an incredible vocalist. We got some serious talent on this label, guys. I can't even begin to speak about the talent, but Evie is going to be a big star, guys. I'm telling you, I think they all will, but there's something about Evie on this TV show. And I remember the first day we were filming, and the producer of the show got me off, and he said, I'm going to tell you that one right there is the real deal. He said, man, you put her in front of a camera, she just comes to life, and she really does. So Evie is she's definitely right up there at the top of Clarksville Creative Sound. She's one of the very best, and she deserves this award.
Her new song, My Kind of Red, was featured last week on Tractors and Troubadours, a podcast, which you can find at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. This week, the new Mackenzie McKetty song, Don't Get Me Wrong, is featured on there, so make sure you go check those out. Ariel was featured 2 weeks ago.
And all of those same artists were also featured as a world premiere on the Billy Bowles show, too. So between you and Billy, all keeping these guys out there in the public.
Well, moving right along, Artist of the Year, Young Adult Male. We've got Braden Ryle and Austin McKetty. So a little battle there between the gentlemen.
Yeah, we got City Boy versus Cowboy here, Braden is your classic City Boy, and he's a great country singer, of course. Braden is a cast member on the new show, Small Town Sound, and he's a big part of this thing, as we all know. Austin is a cowboy. He literally is a bull rider. He loves to ride bulls, and I don't know. I question his intellect when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I sure as heck wouldn't want to get on one of them things. But I will tell you, I've watched him ride, and man,
he's won some stuff.
Doggone good at that, you know. And he's a hell of a singer too.
I want to stop real quick and acknowledge some of the other people that are chiming in here. We've got Drift McClooey, and I've never met him, but what a great name. And he's been, you know, he's become a pretty avid follower of what we're doing, and that's great. And I hope to meet him someday soon. Drift, I'm not sure where you're from. Maybe you can chime in. But anyway, and of course, Dina reminded us that I think she's talking about Mackenzie. I could be wrong. She's in the Texas Radio Top 100 chart for now for 2 songs. That's pretty impressive. Allison Phillips, mother of the great Jack Phillips, who's just a fabulous musician, steel guitar player, fiddle player. He can do it all. Jack's been a part of our A-list band in the past. And Marlene Marie Connors chimed in. And then, so anyway, just want to acknowledge those folks.
Yeah, thank you for watching here as we proceed with the Rising Star of the Year. Jaden Riley is up for that nomination.
Well, another cast member of our new TV show, Small Town Sound, is Jaden Riley. She's our Canadian artist, and Jaden really doesn't need any introduction. She's got about 100 million views out there on one social media platform alone, just on YouTube. She is truly an internet star, and now she's going to become a TV star too. And Jaden Riley, I think, you know, a real quick story about Jaden is when the first time I ever heard Jaden sing, she was 7 years old, and I was watching her sing "The Sound of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel. And if you have not seen the video, I encourage you to go out there and pull up Jaden Riley "Sound of Silence." It's got about 40 or 50 million views on it, and she literally just absolutely put chills on me. And I had to find her, and I actually ended up finding out who she was through Tommy Neal, who's a good friend of ours. And Tommy, he hooked me up with Jaden, and the rest is history. We got her in the studio, and I've had her ever since, and worked with her since she was just a little girl. And now here she is on our TV show, and she's a big part of what we do. Love Jaden.
We got Darren Wright, one of the best voices out there, watching as well. Also, our good friend Carl Vaughn is tuned in. So I didn't know Carl knew how to work a computer, so that's great. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're seeing some people that I'm not seeing, because I see Allison Phillips is on here, of course, but I don't see some of the other guys. But
Drift McClooey corrected you, Kurt, on Jaden's viewers. He said his count is over 120 million.
Well, there you go. That doesn't surprise me either. She and Braden Ryle, my son, have done duets together, and between the two of them, they have well over 10, 15 million views, just the two of them together. I think they were the most successful duet, you know, under 10 years old, probably on the internet, doing original songs. They've got original songs that have millions of views. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, moving on down the line here with the Josie Awards, we got a lot to get through here, guys. Rising Star of the Year, country female, is Jasmine Sean McDonald, who's got some new music getting ready to come out for a world radio premiere with our buddy Billy Bowles here soon.
Yeah, that's great. Jasmine's been real quiet. She kind of transitioned from student to working girl, and we didn't hear a lot from her for a while, but she's back in the fold. She came through Clarksville not too long ago, and of course she's just we love Jasmine, and she's so talented.
Quiet 7 nominations there, so she is
she's the real deal, Brent, and if she doesn't win Video of the Year, I'm going to be sadly disappointed, because I don't think anybody has ever done a video like she did with Train Station. If you haven't seen Jasmine McDonald in Train Station, you need to go out there and watch that video.
How about we watch it right now?
Heck yeah, let's watch it, man. It's like a movie. It's like watching a movie.
Let's do it.
Let's throw it on here. Jasmine McDonald.
I fell in love with the cowboy. I thought he was second to none. I believed every single word that rolled off his silver tongue. He could rope and he could ride. He broke horses and hearts. But he made one big mistake when he tore my world apart. I'm gonna take him to the train station. I just want him gone. The same station that the Dutchins use on Yellowstone. I caught him cheating too many times, like cowboys do. I'm gonna take him to the train station before this day is through. I'm gonna buy him a one-way ticket. I gotta let him go. Where he lands tomorrow, only the devil knows. Yeah, I know he's not coming back, though I wish him well. It's a long way down the track, and sometimes trains derail. I'm gonna take him to the train station. I just want him gone. The same station that the Dutchins use on Yellowstone. I caught him cheating too many times, like cowboys do. I'm gonna take him to the train station before this day is through. Roll on, train, roll on. Rolling down the hill, he's almost gone. Yeah, drifters fade away just like a song. So roll on, roll on, roll on, roll on. Yeah, I'm gonna take him to the train station. I just want him gone. The same station that the Dutchins use on Yellowstone. I caught him cheating too many times, like cowboys do. I'm gonna take him to the train station before this day is through. I'm gonna take him to the train station before this day is through.
Yeah, what video is going to beat that, right?
Yeah, so there you go. You know, both Braden and Jasmine are up for best performance in a music video for that one, as is Mackenzie McKetty for Powder Keg.
Well, a really quick, funny story, really quick, because Dina just brought it up here. I got to say this real quick, Brent. There was a scene in there. You saw the scene where Jasmine walks in and slaps Braden. She did that twice, and he said, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You got to make it look real. So the third time when she hit him, she basically knocked his head. He looked like the little girl on The Exorcist, you know. She knocked the fire out of him, and so Braden had a really bad day that day. Sorry, Brent. Go ahead.
It reminds me of that song, if you're going to do me wrong, do it right.
That's right. Yeah, you know, you got to suffer for your art sometimes.
And you know they are, and I don't want to get ahead of you, Brent. You may already be announcing this later, so maybe I shouldn't even do it. But I know they're up for acting things somewhere in here in the Josie studio.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about here. Best performance in a music video.
Marlene Connors said if Jasmine doesn't win, she's going to eat her favorite hat. So,
heck yeah.
We'll get that on video.
That's right. We'll get that on another episode.
Hopefully we won't have to do that.
And Jasmine, along with Mackenzie, is also up for Traditional Classic Country Vocalist of the Year. 2 other Clarksville Creative Sound talents are also nominated in that category. And I'm talking about the great Lonnie Bartmus and one Mr. Steve Markwardt.
There's a couple of singers right there, brother. You know, Lonnie Bartmus and Steve Markwardt don't get the credit that they deserve for being great artists. Lonnie Bartmus.
That's because people look at us and say they can't be that good of a singer because they're too handsome.
That could be it. That might be it, Steve. I will tell you, Lonnie Bartmus has the best traditional country voice I've ever heard. And Steve Markwardt has the best swing voice I've ever heard. It's almost like Tommy Duncan on steroids whenever I listen to Steve sing. It's really cool. I'm not saying that because he's sitting here. I'm telling you, these guys are truly amazing in the studio, too. And it doesn't take long to get their vocals. It's really good. Well, very well deserving, both of you guys.
I appreciate that coming from you, Kurt, because, Lonnie just got that. I mean, just smooth as molasses voice, just amazing. And you played some stuff that he's done over the years and just blows me away. So,
And we're adding new people too, Brent, really quickly. Billy Bowles mentioned Marty Chambers. He's doing a world premiere on Marty Chambers. Brent, you haven't even heard Marty Chambers, but he's the latest guy that I brought in here, and we're going to release a single on him on Clarksville Creative Sound. And talk about a smooth singer. And he did a swing song, Steve, so you're going to love this. I know you've already heard it, but so be watching for Marty Chambers, too, on Billy Bowles.
How about Alan Rudd, too?
Alan Rudd, and what a great singer that guy is. These are 2 of the newest ones we've brought in.
Be looking out for those also. That premiere we were talking about earlier, the new one from Jasmine tomorrow on Billy Bowles Swinging Country. So KSSLFM.com, 10 a.m. to noon Central Time. Make sure you tune in and give Billy a listen. If you miss it, you catch it on Rural Strong Radio at ruralstrongmedia.com. Also the Live 365 app. That will be at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central on Sunday, and again at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on next Tuesday. So some good opportunities there to listen to those. Moving on here, Pop Contemporary Vocalist of the Year, Jaden Riley, another nomination for her. And Musician of the Year, Mackenzie McKetty on fiddle, Jasmine McDonald on female guitar, and our own Mr. Kurt Ryle on guitar.
Well, I think I seriously don't think that I would be whoever nominated me. I don't know that they're going to allow a studio musician to be a part of this thing. It is the Indie Awards, but I'm really excited about Mackenzie being a good, an excellent fiddle player. But Jasmine too is very underrated as a musician. In fact, she and Braden Ryle both are pretty underrated as musicians. They're very good musicians. Jasmine has actually sat down and put together drums, guitar, bass, and everything, and sent me recordings that she's done just by herself in her little, her home bedroom. Incredible stuff that's coming from these kids, man. They deserve to win these awards.
A heck of a songwriter too.
Yeah. We look at the fans' choice for female. We've got Mackenzie McKetty in there. Also, Jaden, Jasmine, Ariel, and one we haven't talked about yet, Carrie Romero.
Carrie is another just amazing artist. She looks so pretty on camera. She's so good in front of the camera. Carrie is just one of those people, you just love her. She's just so kind to everybody and very talented. And, of course, a lot of these people that just came on here, I know Volker Franz is on here. Volker, we just did a whole segment about Ariel. You need to go back and watch it if you just came on. But all of these artists were going through the list here. Carrie, of course, Jaden, you mentioned her again. She flirts with country and pop. She goes back and forth, and she's so good at whatever genre she wants to do. Ariel is the same way. She can sing anything. But Carrie is a pure country singer. And I really love that Carrie is up for this award. I think she can rival Jasmine and Mackenzie in that in that genre. She's really good.
Well, her latest song is called Eyes in the Back of My Heart, came out a little while ago, and I've got that one queued up here. I'd like to share that with everybody. Got some expert fiddle playing in here as well, so check this one out.
I might be young, wasn't born yesterday. I know all about her, it's all over your face. Did you think I was blind? Well, opinions are free. Honey, I can see more than what's right in front of me. I've got eyes in the back of my heart. I've been watching you tear my dreams apart. I knew from the very first day I could see the games you play. I've got eyes in the back of my heart. I know you think the world revolves all around you. That's why you walk on hard the way you do. Like me, she's gonna find you'll never be enough. 'Cause men like you know nothing about love. I've got eyes in the back of my heart. I've been watching you tear my dreams apart. I knew from the very first day I could see the games you play. I've got eyes in the back of my heart. I could see the games you play. I've got eyes in the back of my heart. In the back of my heart.
So that song is also up for another award here, the Performance Focused Female Award. And Carrie is one of two Clarksville Creative Sound nominees up for Songwriter of the Year Personal Portfolio, the other being Jasmine Sean McDonald. So a great showing for her. Also a great showing for Songwriter of the Year, Josie Music Awards alum pitching portfolio, and a couple guys who work behind the scenes here, Greg Tardy and John Castleberry.
Yeah,
some nice nominations.
And both of those guys are very deserving. Of course, Greg Tardy is kind of one of our staff songwriters here at Clarksville Creative Sound, and he actually wrote Mackenzie's last single, which is, I think, was one of the best things she ever did. And gosh, the title is eluding me. So it's the one where she's burning all the stuff out in the yard. What the heck's the name of that?
Powder Keg.
Powder Keg, man. Greg sent that thing to me and said, "What do you think of this?" I said, "Man, I'm going to get this recorded." And sure enough, Mackenzie was the perfect one to do that. And
well, stay with us because we've got that one queued up. We'll play that in a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about that song in a moment.
Yep. And of course, John Castleberry, Steve and I have a great relationship with John Castleberry, one of the sweetest guys on the planet. and just to look at him, would you ever think for a minute that guy used to tour with Paul McCartney? He toured with Bob Dylan. I mean, this guy has done everything in music, guys. He's a great songwriter. He wrote the song for Lucas Ciliberti that I still think should win an Oscar for video of the year. I don't know. I'm having a senior moment here, Steve. But Springfield, yes. John Castleberry wrote that. He's written some great things. John and I probably have written 200 or 300 songs together. So those guys are very deserving of those awards.
The music video of the year category is for female JMA alums, Josie Music Award alums. We've got the train station video, which we showed you earlier. And then, as we talked about here, Mackenzie McKetty with Powder Keg. We've got that one queued up here. Great video. Let's roll it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming with the charge you set in place. So I've been hiding in a bunker, your latest fall from grace. You're running round on me, gave me the primer and the load. Now this powder keg you're dancing on is ready to explode. Yeah, you crumbled our foundation, built the bricks we laid by hand. Then you set loose with the wrecking ball that crushed our wedding bands. My heart's like smoking residue from the barrel of a gun, and this keg will blow your cheating heart from here to kingdom come. The first time you betrayed me, raging fireworks lit the sky like Roman candles set ablaze. Saw fire in my eyes. So you like to play with matches and watch the torch burning high. But this powder keg that you've unleashed is gonna rain down from the sky. Yeah, you crumbled our foundation, built the bricks we laid by hand. Then you set loose with the wrecking ball that crushed our wedding bands. My heart's like smoking residue from the barrel of a gun, and this keg will blow your cheating heart from here to kingdom come. Yeah, you crumbled our foundation, built the bricks we laid by hand. Then you set loose with the wrecking ball that crushed our wedding bands. My heart's like smoking residue from the barrel of a gun, and this keg will blow your cheating heart. And this keg will blow your cheating heart from here to kingdom come.
Oh, Mackenzie makes me laugh in that video, guys. That's just too funny. She's the sweetest girl on the planet. I've never seen her angry about anything.
No, I was thinking that probably shouldn't be shown in the Miscongeniality.
No.
The funny thing is her mom, Tracy, who works for our company, she's on the staff with us. She actually shot that video with her cell phone. She's got one of those really good cell phones and did a heck of a job on it. I said, let's just put it out. I like it. And so
I love Mackenzie's expressions because it's so counter to what she really is like.
I know.
But it it reminded me of that Bible verse that it's better to live on a corner of a rooftop than to live in a home with an angry woman or something like that.
Yeah. And kudos to our good friend out there for writing that thing, man. Greg, excellent job, Greg.
Great vocals, smooth violin playing. Everything is everything is top notch in that song. And her brother, Austin, up for a couple awards here for his Slow Trained Oklahoma Performance Focused Male Josie Music Awards alum nomination. Also under 18 Vocalist of the Year. So a couple more nominations there for Austin McKetty.
Yeah, and Austin, he doesn't have a lot of competition on the label, being a young artist. He and Braden are about the only two male young artists that we have. Other, of course, than Noah Snyder, who'll be coming in. But Austin, when Austin first came here, he had that look that's so cool, man. And I kept thinking, boy, this kid looks like a star. And he was a little bit. First time I got him in the studio, he just needed a little work, a little artist development, but he's come a long way since then. I mean, in the last year, man, I saw him on the Penny Gilly show, just knocked it out of the park. Right. Good singer, good looking kid. He's got a good future ahead of him.
A couple more awards here. We have to chronicle one. We have to put out here Producer of the Year.
You know what? I'll take that. I mean, you know what? I've had a lot of fun working with these artists. I usually shy away from these awards and I don't get involved in them personally, but this is one I'm honored to be nominated for because I love producing all of these artists. And I appreciate whoever nominated me for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And, somebody who basically runs her own show in the comments section during our show and who does just a bang up job for everybody to get this music out here. Dina Wood and Indie Express up for a nomination here for PR Promotions Company of the Year. And, a lot going on behind the scenes there with Indie Express and I2I Records. Also, Suzanne Abbey. Big part of that. So congratulations to Indie Express for that one. And then the other one that I know that Kurt has mentioned a couple times here. This is the big one that kind of ties it all together. Record Label of the Year, Clarksville Creative Sounds. So as we've said, I don't know another label that would be doing more than what we have laid out here before you here over the last half hour or so.
Well, and the reason that label has been so successful is because of the PR people like Dina Wood. Nobody works harder than Dina Wood. I can tell you, she could be on her deathbed and she'll still get up and go to work. I've never seen anybody like Dina. So thank you, Dina and Tracy McKetty and all the people that we have on staff that does such a great job helping Clarksville Creative Sound move forward. Steve, we lost your voice, Steve. I think you're muted.
There we go.
Sorry. Yeah. The reason I'm muted is about 2 floors above me. I live in a condominium building, as y'all know. 2 floors above me, they're doing something with a jackhammer, I think. I'm not really sure. It's crazy. So I didn't want that to bleed through. I think all of our artists are kind of PR agents for us. They get out there and without us having to remind them, they promote Clarksville Creative Sound. They're very proud to be a part of the label. And we're blessed for that, for sure.
So that, we've got a little while to wait for those. Those are going to be happening in October here at the Grand Ole Opry House, Nashville, Tennessee. JosieMusicAwards.com/tickets is where you can go to get your tickets so you can be in attendance to watch all the festivities. And they also have a number of other things going on around town that weekend. So you can make a whole weekend of it and really enjoy and have some fun.
Well, I want to say one more thing in closing about talking about all the artists on Clarksville Creative Sound label, every one of them. And, people are making a lot of comments about how talented they are, and they're so right. The difference between artists of the caliber that we put on the label, and we don't just let anybody that wants to come in here and record be on the label for sure.
I've been trying for years, and they just won't allow it. So
yeah,
I get it.
And the difference between the people on our label and there's a lot of people out there that want to get up and sing, and they do the karaoke thing, or they'll get up and take a microphone at a live gig, and they think they want to sing, but those people are, they see that as something fun to do. Whereas our artists, every one of them, I can guarantee you, were born to do this. Yeah. And that's what we look for. When we look for this, we look for that this talent is embedded in their soul, and it comes through in the delivery. And sometimes they need a little artist development, mainly because, they're younger, or maybe they're just inexperienced, but there's no better artist development, person than Kurt on that. And we just try to bring them in and nurture them and encourage them and get them out there. And of course, the best way to improve your talent and your ability is to get out there and perform live, in which we're working on more and more live music opportunities for our artists.
Well, some of the artists that were not mentioned in the awards, like Terry LeMaster, why in the world is he's not up for Bluegrass Singer of the Year? I don't know. I mean, that guy's incredible. Darren Wright, I mean, one of the great singers out there. Are they up for awards, or is it, their names weren't mentioned here, and that surprises me.
Yeah, I don't know. But
they weren't in the initial nominations, but as I understand it, there are still a few more nominations to be released. So maybe they'll show up here before it's all said and done.
But strong showing, and we're proud of every nomination, whether we win one single award or not. It's very gratifying that we're getting recognized. And we're behind 100% behind the entire indie artist community, whether they're on our label or not. It's so important that we deliver and put great music out there. Because
Steve and I have a goal of making Clarksville Creative Sound become a major label eventually, or have at least major label distribution. And I think that we're headed in that direction. But the indie artist is where it starts, guys. Nobody gets to the majors without going through the minors, and what I'm saying. It's very rare that you see that. So we're really behind the indie artists, like Steve said. The Josie Awards, what a great awards show that is, and those people are good. All the people that run that show are really good.
I want to say one other thing for everybody that's watching: spread the word. Yes, for most of these artists, you can go on Spotify, iTunes, download their music. But I encourage you and I implore you, because every one of these artists have music also on the I2I platform, I2I Records platform. Go there, because every time you buy a download on I2I, a considerable amount of the proceeds of that go back to the artist. And that's so important, because these artists are funding, for the most part, we don't have a huge budget to we wish we did, and one day hopefully we will. We can't, these artists are paying their own expenses. They're out there working. They're, not making a ton of money on performances, yet. And so, when they come in, they have to subsidize the cost of recording as well. And we try to make it as economical as possible, but we have expenses as well in the studio that we have to cover. So anytime you download and stream off of I2I, a good amount of the proceeds go back to the artist, and that's so important. So if you want to really support our artists and tell them how much you appreciate them, do it through that.
Yeah, and subscribe to their YouTube channels. It's so important, guys, for them to get the viewers that they desire. And also, really quick, I just want to mention Brian Moon is up for an award too, guys. And I think Terry LeMaster is too, from what Dina Wood is telling me here. But Brian Moon has got Trainwreck, which is a really good video and song out there too. He's a new artist on the label, so there's more coming. There's a lot more coming. So
it's I2I, back to that, I2irecords.com, I believe, is the URL. So
yeah,
we wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Make sure you go support them and make sure you continue to spread the word about Fort Worth Musical Moments as we continue to grow this show and push it out there. As we kind of explained in the preview video, Facebook isn't allowing us to stream directly to the group pages anymore. That's not a StreamYard thing or a Fort Worth Musical Moments thing. That's all a Facebook thing. So the workaround is that's why you're seeing comments now, is because it's being shared to those groups from my page, so we can get it out there. So it'll look a little different, but we're going to continue sharing that content every week. We're going to continue to build this thing. We may develop a new workaround over the next couple of weeks, and as we do, we will keep you informed on that, because as we say every week, there's a lot of information to share because this thing's very fluid. It's changing quickly and growing quickly, and we thank everybody who has been a part of that growth and been a big supporter. It's really gratifying to see a lot of the same names showing up every week, and also even more gratifying to see new names showing up and becoming fans, because that's how we build this thing. Just wanted to make note of a couple of other things. I've got a couple live streams that are going to be coming up next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Country music and gospel legend Barbara Fairchild is going to be on the show here. She has a new album that was just released that was produced by the late Don Williams. And he didn't do much in the way of production, but this is one that he did because he was a big Barbara Fairchild fan. And, you know, the Country Music Hall of Fame doesn't archive many albums, but this is one that they took and archived because it's such a special thing. Don Williams produced it, and some great music. So you're going to hear all about that. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Rural Strong Media Facebook page is where you're going to find that. We'll share some links to that. Also later next week, if we can get this thing pinned down, Bobby Marquez has got his Country with Heart 10th annual benefit to support St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. He's got a huge lineup. Of course, Barbara Fairchild will be there. Also Exile, John Conley, Crystal Gale is going to be there. Leroy Parnell, many others. That's going to be a big deal. That's coming up in June, the week of the CMA Fest in Nashville. That Saturday is CMA Fest. So we're going to be talking about that. We had to postpone here this past week. We're going to get that back on the book. So pay attention to the socials. We'll get that one back out there so we can talk about everything we got going on with that, because Rural Strong Radio is going to be the radio partner for that again this year, and bring you a lot of those interviews from behind the scenes with Bobby Marquez's Country with Heart. So
good to see people like Crystal Gale out there. You know, she's one of my favorite female voices ever in country music. That song "Talking in Your Sleep" just knocks me out every time I hear it.
You know, I recorded with her, Steve, back in the early or late 90s. Actually, it was around 2000, right around the turn of the century. But I remember standing with her, and I had my arm around her. They took a picture of us. I looked down on the floor, and her hair was just balled up on the floor. I've never seen anything like that. Her hair was so long, it just literally balled up on the floor.
It's hard to believe that she's Loretta Lynn's sister. She's so different from Loretta. But man,
what a great talent, though, man.
Well,
who didn't have a crush on her? You know.
Well, to your point, Steve, it's just a testament to the fact that good music has no expiration date, and artists, as long as they've got that following, can do this as long as they want.
Yeah, I think that's a quote of Billy Bowles, isn't it? Good music has no expiration date, or did somebody else say?
Who knows? But I'm claiming it for today.
So. All right, you do that.
Sticking my flag in it. That's where we're at with it.
Just remember, wherever you go, there you are.
That's right. If you see a fork in the road, take it.
If the phone doesn't ring, you'll know it's me.
That's a title for a song right there. I like that.
Well, I think we
on that note,
we plowed a lot of ground today here, and we thank everybody who joined us for the show. If you missed any of it, it'll be here in replay. It automatically archives. So make sure you go check it out. Share it around with everybody. Make sure you tell a friend about it so we can continue to grow this thing. And guys, thanks much for the time, and we'll catch you again next Friday, 10 a.m. Central. Another Fort Worth Musical Moments.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
You've been watching Fort Worth Musical Moments, a production of Rural Strong Media and Clarksville Creative Sound, copyright 2023. Please join the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group and join us each Friday at 10 a.m. Central as we introduce you to another key figure in Fort Worth's musical heritage.